Okay, hear me out, gamers. Before you grab your pitchforks and spam, I'm gonna be a dad. Let's get one thing straight. Bella Ramsey isn't the reason the show feels off. Don't get me wrong. While I think Bella Ramsey is a good actress, she simply doesn't fit the phenotype of Ellie Williams in the games. Yet, somehow, the internet decided to make Bella Ramsey the scapegoat for everything wrong with this show. Bella this, Bella that. Bro, relax. She didn't write the script, she didn't direct the episodes. She's just out there doing her job. So what are the real issues with the Last of Us show? For me at least, it has something to do with the political connotations of certain scenes in the show.
Nah, it ain't like that.
It is that, literally. This is the commune. We're communists.
Look, I don't hate quote-unquote woke content. I'm personally a big fan of the Life is Strange franchise, but certain decisions made by the writing team in the show are unnecessarily political in nature. This scene specifically is a gross exaggeration of what I'm talking about, but the argument still stands. In the games, Jackson's economy is never discussed, it's kept vague. So determining out of thin air that Jackson is a communist commune is a deliberate choice made by the writers of the show. I'm not sure if they thought this line was funny, but to me it just sounds like the writers are giving the audience a condescending smirk, saying something like, yeah, and the good guys are also communists. Remember the Communist Manifesto written by these guys? I sure hate capitalism. No political message here, just straight facts. Anyway, back to the zombie apocalypse or whatever. Listen, I'm not a communist hater, okay? The Last of Us was not a political game, but somehow, half the writing decisions in the show are a political statement. I just wanna watch a zombie apocalypse show without being shoved propaganda up my ass. I find these political winks to the audience to be really distracting. When I'm trying to focus on an otherwise beautiful scene, suddenly a character throws around the word fascist, like a clinically online Twitter activist.
So Fedra's not entirely bad.
Fascist dick bags. They're fascist dick bags, and they're the...
It's the only good thing those fascist motherfuckers ever did.
So you want
And the government are all Nazis.
The government are all Nazis!
What is this, Nazi Germany?
Hey! How many times have I told you kids not to bring up Nazi Germany when you don't get something you want?
You're a fascist!
Get out!
You're a fascist, and this whole school stinks of Nazis!
The other big question I have with the show is the random race changes. Just gonna say this up front, because I feel like it can be misconstrued. I have absolutely nothing against the race change for the characters of the show, or race swapping in general for that matter, but the way The Last of Us show handles these changes feels strange, inconsistent, and at times, even performative. In the games, characters of color were original, deeply written, and integral to the story. Beautifully written characters that are truly unforgettable and pop right into mind when I think of The Last of Us. Marlene, the hardened leader of the Fireflies, a woman who spent her life fighting for a seemingly impossible cause. Riley is Ellie's best friend, and more, whose death shapes Ellie's entire journey. She is a core character in the story that sets everything up for the events to unfold as they did. Henry and Sam are two brothers whose tragic fate mirrors Joel and Ellie's bond, reinforcing the game's themes of survival and loss. None of these characters were defined by their race, yet their identities were authentic and purposeful. They weren't included for the sake of diversity. They were essential to the narrative. Now, compare that to the show. Instead of expanding the world with new, well-written characters of color, the show only race-swapped existing white characters. But here's my problem. None of these changes add depth. They don't enhance the story. They feel like checkboxes rather than meaningful choices. What's even more questionable is which characters were changed and which weren't. Notice how only white characters were race-swapped. Imagine the outrage if Marlene was white in the show. Inclusion here is treated like a zero-sum game, where only white characters turn into black, not the other way around. What's crazy to me is how conveniently all the villains remained intact. Robert and David are still white in the show. Not only that, but David was turned into a hyper-religious cult leader. Meanwhile, Maria, the communist leader of Jackson, is now black. This raises some questions. Are black characters only allowed to be heroes? See the stupid problems that arise when you just flip the race of a character instead of creating an original, well-written one? If this is your concept of inclusion, then I simply disagree. True inclusion means, to me, writing characters whose identities matter beyond surface-level diversity. Instead, we got performative changes that serve neither the story nor the cause of real representation. The show's approach feels lazy, even condescending, as if the audience should applaud the bare minimum. To me, the race changes feel a lot more like tokenism than actual inclusion. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, back to the memes. I'd like to take a moment to go over what I did like in the show. I think it's only fair to at least mention the tremendous amount of effort put into it. Let's start with the undeniable W. The scenic design is perfect. There's no other word to describe it. It matches the game one-to-one, and sometimes it's even better. The costumes, CGI, and practical props are out of this world, and look exactly like a more realistic version of the game. The attention to detail is insane. For example, in episode 7, we can see a poster of Dawn of the Wolf, which perfectly matches the one found in the game. And the attention to detail doesn't stop there. The mother of Ellie is played by Ashley Johnson, which is the original voice actress for Ellie in the games. This isn't just fan service, it's fan worship. The Last of Us has a very iconic soundtrack composed by Gustavo Santaolalla, and the show respects the use of it. In episode 7, we can hear the leitmotifs of the unique score of the DLC. Also, in episode 9, the giraffe scene uses the same song of the game. This scene looks as good as the original, and the giraffe had me questioning if HBO smuggled a real one on set. Guys, I found out after writing the script that the giraffe is actually real. It's arguably more impressive to have the real thing on set now that I think about it. Other important scenes of the game are pretty much kept the same, and are very well portrayed visually.
So, is it everything you hoped for?
It's got its ups and downs. You can't deny that view.
Overall, I don't hate the show. My biggest problem with it is that the subtle political commentary is a little distracting. I think the game is literally better in every aspect, but what gives me the right to compare two completely different sources of media? The show isn't meant entirely for the fans of the games. If its purpose is to bring new people to this beautiful story, then that's fine by me. In the end, that's what went wrong, wasn't it? The show would have never satisfied the insane expectations put on it by the fanbase of the first game. The same thing happened to The Last of Us 2. It's just like the wise Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." I also get to add a quote to my video so my opinion feels more justified. In the end, I think any show HBO would have put out would have been hated to some degree, but the tremendous hate that went to Bella Ramsey is totally unwarranted. I agree she is not the best casting for Ellie. I also think I would not be a good casting for the show, but heck, if HBO asked me to be in it, I would also say yes, even if I'm not the best option. Also, if you haven't noticed, this video is only about The Last of Us Part 1, so if you want me to do the same analysis to Part 2, make sure you support this video so I know you liked it. That's it for the video. Thank you so much for hearing me out. See you next time.